how's it going everybody? Dylan K. Johnson here, and welcome back to another training log. In this video today, we're going to be covering some clips from week 8 of my conjugate based training cycle that I'm running right now. And we're starting off with a maximum effort lower body day, focusing on a pull focused workout. So hitting the variation of pause deadlifts, as you can see, essentially pausing the weight as soon as it breaks the floor for a second and then finishing out the movement. This is to target one of my weak points and sticking points of the lift, which is essentially right after I break the weight off the floor or even just breaking the weight off the floor. That's what pause deadlifts this low are intended to do, is to help with that sticking point or that weak point in the movement. So started off with a warm-up set of one plate, then threw on another plate, did another couple reps, threw on some chains to start adding some accommodating resistance, did a couple reps, then just slowly started working my way up to a top single, which is what you'll see here. Now, funny thing here is I actually failed my first attempt, which you'll see, but the reason I failed is I just kind of felt like I misgrooved. So here you go. You can see I try to pull. I'll start to break it off the ground. The bar bends and I stop because I just felt something off about it. But I knew I could get the weight. I knew it felt solid. So went again, should have rested a little bit, but I was just pretty stubborn and went for it. Managed to get it. Was pretty much a grinder, but was still really happy with how it moved, how it felt. And yeah, was a pretty big PR. So bar weight there was 190 kg, approximately 418 pounds, which that alone is a 13-pound PR over my previous conventional 1-rep max. And considering that was a pause rep too, really happy with how it moved. With the added chains, it was approximately 200 kg at lockout, or 440 pounds. So yeah, really happy, really impressed with how my strength has been progressing, and we are definitely on our way to that coveted 500-pound deadlift that I've been chasing for quite a while now. But after I finished off the top single, I dropped the weight down to 80% of that and then started hitting just 4 sets of triples to get in some extra volume. These were a pretty damn hard struggle after hitting that top single, but I managed to force my way through them, really just crank out the volume, get the work done, and I was pretty happy with how that workout went. Finished everything off with some just typical pull-focused bodybuilding movements, typical back stuff, biceps, that kind of stuff, which I didn't record. But today, or now, is the next day, which was a dynamic effort lower body day, focusing on a squat. So not a typical, not just any kind of squat variation or anything like that this week, going back to competition squat with accommodating resistance, focusing on speed. So you can see I'm slowly working my way up to my top weight, which I believe, if I remember right, was 100 kg, something like that. Right around 100 kg, and I was hitting 12 sets of triples, focusing on speed again. The chains add on approximately 40 kg at the lockout, so pretty damn good. 140 kg at lockout, was moving really smooth. With this, the main couple of things that I was focusing on are controlling the descent, controlling the way down as much as possible, not just falling into the hole, and then exploding up out of the hole as quickly as I possibly could, and also making sure that I'm hitting depth. Because one thing when I get to the dynamic effort days is I typically will blast through the movement as quick as I can and not focus on controlling that lower portion of the rep, and I actually will not hit depth unless I really focus on it. So something that I'm really focusing on is dropping and sinking into the hole as much as I can while maintaining tightness to explode up out of the hole. So the only thing after that I recorded was this first movement, which typically what I'll do after my dynamic effort primary movement is I'll go into like a good morning of some kind, just to kind of work on my posterior chain and strengthen my lower back. Today I tried to do something which I saw off of Instagram, and these are called king squats. So essentially it combines a good morning, as you can see there, and then you drop down into a squat. So it was really interesting, really really hit the glutes and hamstrings a lot more than I was expecting, but overall was a nice kind of way to change things up. I like the movement a lot, and I'll be incorporating it a lot from time to time since I've tried it now. But overall, really happy with how it felt. Used bands and chains instead of typical weight just to kind of change things up again. I always like to keep things interesting, and I like using different kinds of resistance to change things up from time to time. So after that, I hit a typical leg workout, and then this is the next day, which is going to be a dynamic effort upper body push focused workout. And this is actually interesting because I started off to kind of warm everything up with a earthquake bar or bamboo bar bench press. So what I'm using here is my DIY PVC bamboo bar or earthquake bar that I made recently. I've actually made a full video on how you can make this guy for about $15 as opposed to buying one for like $300. So if you guys want to check that out, I will link it up in the cards, or you can go check out my channel for it. Just to see if you guys want to make one yourself. Really love this bar. One of the main reasons I haven't used it very much recently is because I actually got rid of all of my older plates when I got in the calibrated plates, because one, they were pound plates and I wasn't ever going to be really using them with the calibrated plates, and two, I just wanted to sell them so I had some extra money to pay for some other stuff because I didn't need them. And with that, I didn't want to use my calibrated plates on there because the plates tend to hit together a lot. So that was the main reason I haven't used them very much. But what you just saw was how I actually will go through and weigh out how much additional tension the bands will be adding. I do that for chains as well. So essentially I take what's called a luggage scale. You can pick it up off of Amazon for like $5, $10, $15. Make sure you have one that goes up to like 100 plus pounds, because some of the bands that you're going to use, or some of the bands that I use, will go over 100 pounds. So you want to make sure that you're able to weigh them out properly. But essentially I set them up on the band peg, and then I'll hook it onto the scale and lift it up to approximately the same height that it would be at the top of the range of motion for whatever movement I'm doing. If that's squats, it's essentially where the bar would be sitting on my back at lockout. Bench here, it would be essentially where the bar is when I'm fully locked out and at the start of the movement. And then from there, I'll take a measurement of the bands just to see how much additional tension is added. So that way, when you guys hear me say, oh, I'm doing like with the deadlift, or we'll just take this movement for example. This is 103 kg bar weight plus approximately 30 kg of band tension. And you guys saw I went through, weighed everything out, lift the chains up, or weighed everything out. Weighed out the bands, and the bands were sitting at about 14 to 15 kg. So you know that I'm pretty much accurate with my weight estimates anytime I talk about the band tension or the chain tension. So yeah, that was pretty much what I was doing there. And then I moved into 12 sets of 3 reps at 60% of my 1 rep max, or like I said, 103 kg for 12 sets of 3 there, focusing on speed for the bench work. Now we're moving into the next day here, which is dynamic effort pull focus lower body, or dynamic effort pull focus day. So we're doing some speed deadlifts with about, 110 kg plus like 40 kg of band tension for 10 sets of doubles here. So this was supposed to be triples, but my back was just smoked from the deadlift session earlier this week and everything else that I've done and all the extra volume. So my back could not handle triples, so I was just dropping it down to doubles, just getting in a bunch of extra work, really focusing on increasing the volume, trying to make sure my form is as tight as possible, and just kind of fine-tuning some stuff here. But overall went really well. After I finished with this, went into a typical bodybuilding pull focused workout to kind of finish off week 8 of this training cycle. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on. Really happy with how my strength is slowly progressing. Like I said before, I've got a few targets that I want to hit by the end of this cycle, which is coming up pretty quickly here. Should be before the end of the year. Might be like a couple weeks into January, right around my birthday. But overall, really happy with how things are going so far. So if you guys like the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this coming at you all the time. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.
Stop!